know what? It's Tuesday. Welcome to Mornings with Luann and Tim. Hoping you're having a good one. Also want to say huge thank you to KC Security for sponsoring the show for us. How are you?
I'm getting closer to finishing the jingle for them.
Oh, you are?
I was working on it again yesterday.
Really? It kind of comes in waves, the inspiration?
Yeah, I don't know. I was trying it out on the guys and the guys and the girls in the office, and I don't think I've struck gold with it yet, Lou. So.
And those people are the ones that are going to say, no.
Yeah, they're
right. They're not shy.
No,
none of them are shy.
They don't like me. That's why I'm going to celebrate Hermit Day all by myself. It's Hermit Day.
All by myself. Hermit Day.
All by myself. Yes, it's Hermit Day.
Hermit Day.
Yes, for those of us who like to be alone. Do you like to be alone?
You know what? My husband Jim taught me to like to be alone. He always said to me, I like myself. I like being with me. And he does. Like if I go out of town by myself to my mom's or something, he'll party and like carry on and have the best weekend. So he taught me that it's okay. You don't need to be, I used to panic. When I was a little girl, I used to pray that I would be popular. That's how...
I need a tissue.
Right? I used to, honest to goodness, pray. Because I was a nerd and I was very shy and I was very quiet and nobody paid attention, and I felt like I always had to push myself to have friends, and I had to push.
So you overcompensated and now you don't shut up.
Right? This is where all of this comes from.
The final piece of the puzzle.
Yes, but you know what?
It worked. You got friends.
I got friends, and I have
Until your money runs out.
My big bucks, till that runs out. Jim could be a hermit like this morning.
Me too.
Yeah, people... And you're such a social person too. You're a performer.
But see, that's the thing.
I know.
That Keith knows the truth.
Jim knows the truth too. Yeah. It's work. It is. People think that because Tim is good at it, I was going to say because we're good at it, but that would be boastful. Because Tim is good at it, especially his performance, live performance, he sings, he does impressions, we're so lucky.
I like it here this morning. Never mind Hermit Day. I'm going to sit here.
Well, you know what though? We're so lucky to have him in Sault Ste. Marie. We really are, and it's lovely.
My money's running out too, so you can stop being nice anytime.
You know what? Like the thing is that
when you go home,
if you need to hire him, do it.
When you go home after a lot, but I guess it's the same for anybody who works in a situation where it's customer service, where you're putting on a pleasant demeanor and a nice face, and you're.
When are you going to start? The pleasant demeanor part.
Anyway, so when I'm at home, I'm a very different person. I'm not a funny person at home, I don't think.
No, Keith says you're not.
No, he does.
No fun at all.
I'm troubled is basically.
You know what? I'm very. I don't think I'm high maintenance, but I'm very as I said, I was the kid who prayed that I would have friends.
See, and I was single till I was 47. I think. Something like that. So, 46, whatever.
So you were used to having your time.
Oh.
Yeah.
People say, is it hard when Keith goes and works 27 weeks out of the year? I have no problems when he's not.
He really does.
No.
He says that to me all the time. I'm like, are you missing Keith? He goes, no, I'm good.
Well, I miss him, but I'm not lonely.
Yeah, you're not lonely. And that's the big difference. I was always so petrified to be lonely that I overcompensated, and so here I am.
I hope you're enjoying our therapy session. All I said was Hermit Day, and now all of a sudden we need a couch and some Ativan or something.
You have Ativan? Sharesies.
I need an Ativan after watching Dancing with the Stars last night, and Sean Spicer's still there.
That's why I don't watch that show anymore.
Here's my fear. People, my fear is that Dancing with the Stars, as ridiculous as this might sound, that Dancing with the Stars, that reality show, is a little microcosm of what's going on in our world today, especially in our neighbors to the south, with our neighbors to the south. And you might think that's crazy, but they elected a reality star as their president. So don't tell me that this doesn't have some sort of influence and that there's not messages being sent. Sean Spicer publicly went out in time, talked to his Christian base and said, let's show America that we matter, that we are a voice, that we are a power to reckon with, and let's show these people who buy commercial airtime that we're out here watching, and it's working, and he's still on the show, and the judges can't get rid of him.
And then none of them voted for him. That's why I don't like this show. The
There
audience.
he is as Frankenstein. Luann. Keith hasn't watched it for a while. He was dying. Oh, that's funny. He was dying Frankenstein. No, it was so awful. It was so bad.
I mean, he's such a polarizing character.
And then, you know who got voted off, though? Here's the other end of the spectrum. What the heck is his name? I wrote it down, didn't I? His name is Caramo, and he's from Queer Eye for the Straight Guy. So I said to Keith, well, there you go. They voted off the gay guy, and they kept the Christian far right. And I say, when I say Christian, please understand that I'm talking about someone who is who I don't think represents. I call them the faux Christians.
Yes.
Maybe Sean Spicer is a good Christian. I don't think no, never mind.
Well, how can you?
I don't want to get into it. All I'm saying is.
But you know what? That's a good point. Like, how can you say Christian and then it's like all the wars in the world seemingly have started from religion and.
I mean, when Donald Trump says vote for Sean Spicer, he's always been a good guy, and then they do. And you know that's what's happening.
What?
And it's terrifying to me. Anyway.
I don't know how the judges can handle it. I really don't.
You should see them by the end of the show. Every week so far, when they've got down to the bottom two, and he's not one of them, they're like, oh, here we go again.
I mean, they're professional people. They know dance. You know, regardless of the politics. But it's not reality TV. It's fake.
You know who else
is fake? And
Louis C.K.'s making a comeback on the other end of the spectrum.
Is he? He's totally on the other end of the spectrum.
Yes, Louis C.K., for those of you who don't know, masturbated in front of 5 women without their consent. Stand-up comic, and was rather unapologetic for it, and has also been pretty misogynistic.
And also in his routine, a couple of places have banned him from performing there anymore.
So he's already doing. He's got 18 dates already booked, including in Israel and Slovakia, because he hasn't masturbated there yet. And so he's added 14 new dates to his itinerary. No Canadian dates, darn it! So I guess I don't get to see little Louis.
That's a shame.
I don't get to see little Louis.
I would spend 48 cents.
Do you know that he has a policy now that's clearly stated in his dates? No recording and no note-taking. These comedians are getting tired of having stuff thrown back in their faces about material that they've used. So in case something is said now that could be used against them in the future, no recording and no note-taking.
That's brave, isn't it?
Well, you know what? It's smart, I guess, if you want to avoid backlash in the future.
If you want to avoid backlash, don't say stupid things.
Yes.
Easy, done.
If you want to avoid waste, stay with us this morning, because I've got Clean North. We're talking trash with Abby and Josh.
Josh is here.
Yeah, and we're going to. It's about waste reduction.
Awesome.
Because I believe it's National Waste Reduction Week. I think we'll check on that. And then, a pre-recorded interview is the first one up with Steve Turco. Stuff going on James Street. They're looking at some urban planning.
Refurbishing.
And they're having a workshop. 2 different days you can attend. So, and really interesting stuff. So check this out with Steve Turco from the city of Sault Ste. Marie. Plus, of course, my friend Luann has the news for you. Everything you need to know from Sault Ste. Marie and beyond. Welcome to Tuesday morning on Mornings with Luann and Tim. Boo.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Machine Shop, our historic venue and gathering place for friends and family. Built in 1899 on the site of a Northwest Company trading post. Today we are a go-to venue hosting many expos, concerts, weddings, and more. While you're here, choose one of our dining experiences. Enjoy a quiet dinner at the Mill Steakhouse and Wine Bar, watch a game and try wood fire oven pizza and local draft at the Boiler Room, or treat yourself every day to gelato and local coffee at the Gelato Mill. For more information on the Machine Shop, visit machineshopinc.ca.
past year, we've been celebrating our 65th anniversary, dating back to services originating in our community in 1954, which is quite some time ago. It's been a great opportunity this past year to recognize the pioneers, the stakeholders that worked tirelessly to create what we are today. I'm grateful for everything that the families 65 years ago and the people that assembled the organization have done in order for us to achieve the success that we're experiencing 65 years later.
Welcome back to Mornings with Lou Ann and Tim. This is Steve Turco. Hi, Steve.
Hi.
Steve is a senior planner with the City of Sault Ste. Marie. You were born and raised in the Soo?
I was.
And did you always have an interest in sort of architecture and buildings and planning and stuff? Or were you one of those kids who drew buildings when you were in school?
I was, yeah. I used to take a ruler and a blank piece of paper and just draw neighborhoods and skyscrapers. So, yeah.
And so
I didn't know it at the time. I didn't even know what urban planning was, but I've always been interested in cityscapes and things like that.
So then you found out in high school that there was such a thing as going to school for studying urban planning, or what?
You know what? I started at the University of Ottawa, and just through meeting different people, I found out about the profession of urban
What
planning.
were you taking at Ottawa?
Political science.
Poli-sci, okay.
Yeah.
And then you found out that there was this other thing.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. But I guess, it goes back to, every time I'm walking in a neighborhood or walking in a new city, I'm always, just staring and looking around and
assessing and taking it in.
Yeah, I've always been interested in the built form and architecture and things like that.
So then you ended up at Ryerson and urban planning.
That's right.
This is probably where you realized, wow, there's a lot more to this than what I thought originally, right?
For sure. I mean, there's the physical element, like how neighborhoods are physically built and the form and things like that, but there's also the more nuanced elements like the social, the economic, the environmental impacts of planning. So it's a really interesting profession. It encompasses a lot of different dynamics.
So that you came back to the Soo and you've been working with the city for 15 years now?
Yeah, I'm in my 16th year at the city, yeah. So it's quite fortunate.
Senior planner. That's pretty cool.
It is, because it is something that I do have a passion about. I'm passionate about all cities, so I'm really fortunate that I get to come back and work in my hometown and try to make a difference.
Right. Steve and I were chatting before we came to camera. We've been talking for probably about 10 minutes now. It's really, your job is really cool, and the things you talk about are extremely interesting. Right now, the project we're discussing today is James Street.
That's right.
So we've seen Gore Street, there's a revitalization going on Gore Street. It's been quite successful. I mean, it's got a whole different feel to it, not just from the new roads you put in and the sidewalks and the boulevards and the benches. That's all beautiful stuff. But you talked about the social economic development part of it too. So you've got the Neighborhood Resource Center now with a lot of community partners involved. You've got Grocer for Good, which is also really looking at what the people in the neighborhood need. Are you looking for the same sort of idea to happen in the James Street area?
For sure. I mean, when we look back at the history of James Street, it was this idea of a complete neighborhood, right? People had the ability to live in different types of housing. They had access to different kinds of stores and services.
I mean, they used on James Street back in the day. They had butchers and Michael has a picture up right now. James Street through the years. Yeah. You can see the beautiful older buildings. They had markets. They had very specialized grocery stores. I mean,
what we hear at the open house, you can get everything except for buying a car in James Street when it was that vibrant,
neighborhood.
Yeah.
So what happened?
The history is a little bit fuzzy. I mean, that's one of the things that we're trying to reconcile is why there was such a drastic intervention in the first place, because at the time we did hear that it was this vibrant, successful neighborhood. There may have been some deterioration in the buildings, but at the same time it was a vibrant neighborhood. I think there was a series of steps that contributed to its current state. I think the first thing was, and this is going back, there used to be what was called the High Line, which was a road essentially over Algoma Steel property that led into the James Street neighborhood. So that connected the James Street neighborhood to essentially that area around Bayview.
Oh.
So there was that connection that was
sort of beyond the plant, like
Yeah.
where you get to like what's that street there? Not Cora Road.
Wallace Terrace.
And Gooley Avenue.
Yeah, so there was actually what was called the High Line, and actually it was a road that went over Algoma Steel property. Yeah, so that people say that was kind of the first hit
disconnect.
Yeah, and then in I believe the late 60s, there was this phenomenon called urban renewal, and this was something that a lot of cities were attempting, I guess. And Sault Ste. Marie was one of the first cities where urban renewal was utilized, and the approach was essentially get rid of the old and let's try the new.
Right, which that ended up taking a lot of the older historical buildings out, putting up some of those at that time really high-rise modern apartments, right?
Yeah.
And that didn't sit well with some people, right?
Well, it really changed the dynamic of the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And I think that's when you started to see a big migration out of the neighborhood, because the neighborhood changed significantly.
Yeah. And they stopped traffic. They put the walking plaza in, right?
Yeah, so that's a little bit fuzzy as to why that was done. I think that was almost, there was an attempt after the apartment buildings and things like that, and sort of the urban renewal approach wasn't working. They thought, okay, well, let's try something else, and let's try this pedestrian street.
Pedestrian street, right?
Yeah, and again, we've been hearing some positives about it, but we've also been hearing some negatives about the fact that James Street is now a pedestrian-only street.
One of the things you and I talked about before we came to camera was the fact that maybe part of the problem back then was there wasn't quite enough consultation with the citizens.
And it's not just the planning profession. I think a lot of professions come at it from the point of I'm the expert and I know best. I know best, right? And we've learned a lot over the years that it's really about consultation, really having people engaged in the process, and having them buy into whatever recommendations that we make.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, those are the people that live there. Those are the people that are most affected by those decisions. So they have to buy into it. They have to accept it, and they have to champion those decisions themselves.
Now, when you're talking about James Street, you are faced with certain challenges. Certainly, there's not a lot of population as far as businesses go. I think we're down to about 2. Al Spadoni is there still, but Spadoni's. The Spadoni family has had the building on James Street forever and ever. And then the printers, the
Matheson's office
supply has been there several decades now.
For sure, yeah.
They're stalwarts. They're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Now, as far as I'm concerned, what's happened, I'm going back to Gore Street again, it feels like the community has come to Gore Street rather than Gore Street changing on its own. It's almost like you can't make a neighborhood part of the city unless you bring the city to the neighborhood.
Yeah,
without making the neighborhood, you don't want the neighborhood to feel like you stay there, we're not part of you, you're not part of us. If you go to them and draw them into the city and make them feel that they are included, that they're part of the city, that they have a voice, that they matter, that's a huge step in the right direction, right?
Yeah, I think going to that immediate neighborhood and engaging them is a big step. And one of the things that we want to try to help with is to reconnect that neighborhood. Physically, it's disconnected from the downtown and the rest of the neighborhood, and there's been a few interventions like Carmen's Way that really cut off that neighborhood physically.
Right, we have a map that Michael can put up that'll show us the actual neighborhood we're talking about in case people aren't familiar. So it's quite a number of blocks, north and south, east and west. It's a lovely little neighborhood. There are still some beautiful older buildings there. You can see some of the older apartments that used to probably have a corner store on the main floor, those sorts of things. Yeah. So is there room for development of new buildings? Is this what we're talking about, or does it go beyond that?
I mean, one of the things that we're trying to do is establish an environment that does encourage people to set up businesses, whether it's within some of the existing buildings or perhaps even building new buildings in that area.
Great for people who are looking for lower income housing. That might be an initiative. Students, you're talking about right now, there's already international students moving into that.
Yeah, that's something that we've been hearing, is that because it's an affordable area of the community, a lot of international students that are going to Sault College Jeroboam University are actually setting up in that neighborhood. So it does present an opportunity both for affordable renting, but also if you're looking to get into the housing market, it might provide an opportunity for people to buy and live in your own house.
Also an opportunity for cultural diversity. If you've got people from different nations, different countries, different social backgrounds, different cultural backgrounds, an opportunity for them to celebrate their cultures in a neighborhood, and in the same way you might have Greek Town or in Toronto,
And that's what that neighborhood used to be. It used to be a very multi-ethnic community.
So how do you engage the community then? By having things like this workshop you're proposing?
For sure. We had 2 input sessions already.
Okay, for the James Street area.
For the James Street, we went to the soup kitchen and
posters up right now telling people about this event that's coming up.
So we had a couple sessions already, and we have 2 more sessions next week, next Tuesday and Wednesday.
Well, this is actually going to be, people are watching this, we're taping this in advance, so while they're watching this, they're going to have the opportunity to go this evening.
Okay.
Because this is airing on the Tuesday.
All right.
So 5 p.m. tonight?
5 p.m. tonight.
Till 7, is that what it is?
5 till 7.
5 till 7 at the soup kitchen.
That's right.
Okay, and then also if they miss that one, tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah.
Morning.
From 11 till 1.
11 till 1 at the soup kitchen, which is on James Street. And what will happen at this event? You're calling it a workshop?
Yeah, so it's actually a visioning workshop, and we're going to have urban designers present, and we really want to hear from the community.
Okay.
And it's going to be very interactive. We're going to have large maps, blank paper.
Oh, there's a picture we have of one of the other events you had where you have a board and it's got, people can go and put things on there. Explain this here.
So what we've been asking so far is, what do people enjoy about their neighborhood? What are things that they'd like to see changed? We're hearing certain things like people are experiencing that traffic is quite fast on Queen Street. People are intimidated by Carmen's Way. We're hearing things about the condition of James Street, the planters and the lights and things like that. Right. So there are certain physical interventions that I think can be had to help reconnect that neighborhood.
So this is inviting everybody to come and give input.
That's right.
What you like to see changed. We can't, obviously, it's pretty obvious that one of the issues with the James Street neighborhood would be the drugs.
Yeah.
So now this is where the socio-economic comes into it. We've got a lot of people in that neighborhood who are suffering, who are living in poverty, and they need some help. So this is where we're looking for, talking about bringing in agencies like Algoma Public Health.
That's correct. So there's 2 elements. One are sort of the physical interventions like traffic calming or redoing James Street a certain way, but there's also more of the socioeconomic interventions that require larger community collaboration. So some of the things that we're hearing are some kind of wellness facility or maybe some co-op grocer type to
like
provide.
They've done with Grocer for Good.
Exactly, yeah. So because what we're seeing is a lot of people in this neighborhood either walk or take public transit. Not a lot of people have the ability to take a car to buy groceries or go see the doctor. So we're trying to see if there's ways to incorporate these goods and services right within that neighborhood. You
mentioned doctor. There was a model that you're talking about with the First Nations community.
Yeah, in Garden River they have, I believe it's called the Garden River Wellness Facility. I don't know if I have that name correct, but it is a really good model that we're hoping to look into further to see if it can be applied in this neighborhood. And how it works is every day a different practitioner comes. So one day it'll be a family practitioner, next day it could be a mental health practitioner, physiotherapist.
So there's many solutions, but it requires the input of people who care, that's what you're looking for.
That's right.
So if you're up for it and you have some input, or you just want to hear what's going on, just find out how this all works. Join Steve and the gang at the Soup Kitchen. That's tonight, 5 o'clock till 7 o'clock. Tomorrow, 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock. Steve Turco, it's been a pleasure chatting with you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks for coming in, and thanks for all the work you do in Sault Ste. Marie. And we'll be back with Luann after this on Mornings for Luann and Tim.
Welcome to the Machine Shop, our historic venue and gathering place for friends and family. Built in 1899 on the site of a Northwest Company trading post. Today we are a go-to venue hosting many expos, concerts, weddings, and more. While you're here, choose one of our dining experiences. Enjoy a quiet dinner at the Mill Steakhouse and Wine Bar, watch a game in Trywood Fire Oven Pizza and local draft at the Boiler Room, or treat yourself every day to gelato and local coffee at the Gelato Mill. For more information on the Machine Shop, visit machineshopinc.ca.
Here, your education is everything, supporting your true sense of purpose. Here, you'll learn from professors who will understand you, who will challenge you, and offer you support on your journey. Here, you'll study programs built on real values: business, technology, science, arts and social sciences, always geared to make a positive difference. Here, you'll have a chance to assist in faculty research, leaving your mark wherever you go. Here, you'll focus on what matters to you and impact the world around you. Algoma University. Come take a closer look.
So I'm in good company.
Thank you.
Prince, you know Prince, the late Prince?
Yes.
The artist formerly known as Prince.
Do you know Prince? Was that the guy who wasn't known as Prince?
There's a book coming out. So apparently his estate needs to make some money. How?
I heard he was broke-ish.
Really, eh?
Yeah.
So they're trying to raise some money. So this woman who was going to, I guess Prince had approached this woman to be his biographer. Mm-hmm. Before he passed, obviously. And so she is now putting together a book. Oh, what's it called? Let me just check my notes. The book is called The Beautiful Ones.
Ah.
It's coming out on October the 29th, I believe. Oh my gosh, that's tomorrow. And it's notes that they found in his archives, like personal notes, letters.
Some songs written too, I think.
Compiled cartoons. Photos, never before seen photos, and diary entries. And one of the things that they unearthed was this from Prince. Oh, look, there's the cover of the book. They keep trying to ram Katy Perry and Ed Sheeran down our throats, and we don't like it no matter how many times they play it.
Ouch.
He didn't like Katy Perry, or as I call her, Katy Perry.
Did we know that?
Unconditional Katy Perry.
Did we know that?
That he didn't like her?
Yeah.
No, this is breaking news.
Is that because nobody knew about Prince or cared about Prince?
Oh, people cared about Prince
until he passed away.
Oh, come on. Anyway,
I'm just saying.
He was 57. 2016 he passed. Well, anyway, so Prince was not a fan of Katy Perry.
Just like you.
Just like me.
Guy named Michael Chi on Saturday Night Live.
Is he the new one?
Don't know. He's in trouble though. He was doing the weekend roundup.
Is he the one? Tell me.
He's getting some backlash because he was talking about Kanye West.
Oh.
And he was talking about how, he used to be one of the coolest black guys. I'm quoting him. And he says, now he shows up to events in sweatpants and sneakers. He listens to Kenny G, and he tries to get back people. He said he tries to get black people to like Donald Trump. So that's the joke, right? And then he ad-libbed a little bit. He says, now, I think he's really becoming an elderly white woman. Then he went on to say, you might think I'm crazy, but about 5 years ago, there was a fella named Bruce Jenner, and he moved to Calabasas, and then he kind of just faded away, and the audience laughed awkwardly.
Because you don't...
That's dead naming.
It's also... That's terrible.
He said fella. Well,
Yeah, you
Caitlyn
don't-
Jenner is
is
not
a
a
woman.
fella anymore. And yeah,
Whoa.
so they're calling him out on Twitter, talking about how he's dead naming her, and how he should,
Wow, that was
Be
really.
ashamed.
You got to be so careful.
You do. And
Just be sensitive.
well, and you know what? What I want to know is that, like he said, Kanye West shows up in sweatpants and sneakers, listens to Kenny G. Why didn't anybody tweet about Kenny G?
Yeah.
Right? Poor Kenny G. I think that was a slam.
I like Kenny G.
I do too. But he said he listens to Kenny G, and he's becoming an old white woman.
Wow. So, and SNL, Saturday Night Live, is known for being liberal left. Mm-hmm. And here they are shaming.
Well, I'm sure it wasn't in the script.
No, wow.
Yeah.
Well then, that's news.
Yes, it is.
What else is news?
We'll find out, Tim, coming up right after this.
Recently, the Government of Ontario established a $100 million affordability fund to help Ontarians who don't qualify for low-income conservation programs ease the burden of their electricity bill. Whether you rent or own your home, as long as you pay your electric bill, you could qualify. There are 3 levels of support available. The first is a home energy kit with upgrades like smart power bars and LED light bulbs. The second includes Energy Star appliances that help keep things cool during the hot summer months. The third is for electrically heated homes so that your power bills don't break the bank during those long Canadian winters. Plus, all upgrades, including installation, are completely free of charge. Visit affordabilityfund.org or call 1-855-494-FUND to find out if you qualify.
Outraged by recent cuts to education, local activists gathered at MPP Ross Romano's office to voice their concerns over the province's most recent funding cuts. The protest, led by Michelle McLeave Kennedy, is just one of many held at Romano's downtown office while he's been elected, and as always on TV, was there to capture the event.
So we're at Welcome Back for Ross Romano to his Welcome Back to Work party. So this is his first day back to work after 5.5 months of paid vacation. So different labor unions and community members have come together to welcome him back to work. We're so glad he's back to the legislature. There's a lot of things going on. There's education cuts, healthcare cuts. There's been cuts that have been going on since the spring. We still have the autism funding that hasn't come about. So yes, education is forefront in a lot of people's minds because of what's happening locally as well as provincially. Pretty soon we could have the unions out on strike.
Or yours?
Well, I'm hoping that Ross gets back to the legislature and they start making some changes and start rolling back some of the cuts. I mean, let's face it, if they can have a 14% raise in his new position, they can certainly come with more than a 1% raise for all these public service workers. And all these workers, that 1% raise for us is a cut when it comes to the cost of inflation. So let's get back to the negotiating table and let's keep people working and let's get some cuts rolled back so that we can start having people making ends meet, and that's something we've talked about for a long time. I'm hoping that they're going to get back to work at the legislature and make some things change, but we will be out here to hold him to it, and we are the resistance. These are the people that are going to come forward and they're going to make their voices heard, and we've seen it. The rallies get bigger and bigger and people are here no matter what the weather. So obviously there is a situation and it needs to be looked at. Today there's all different kinds of unions that have been out here, and it's been different every time. We've had people from the public, but today we have a lot of support from a lot of different people. We have CUPE here today, we have OSSTF, we have FO here, which is the elementary teachers, Catholic teachers, we have OPSU here, and there's still people that will be coming as they get off work. And look, we have 2 little cute boys that are here from the Autism Association, which are community members. And that's what this is about. It's about the community and getting back for the community. He works for Sault Ste. Marie. community, and let's get people out there and people talking about the situation. This has made people in the community talk about events that are happening in the community.
The sticker campaign will certainly remain. We believe that as a matter of transparency, consumers have the right to know where those cost pressures are. Look, over the course of time, retailers, vendors have not hesitated in many instances to put a pie chart sticker on their gas pumps to let people know where those costs are.
Ontario's energy minister says the government's anti-carbon tax stickers will stay up on gas pumps across the province in spite of the results of last week's federal election. Greg Rickford says the decals, which were required to be posted by law before the federal vote, will stay up because people still need the information they provide. Green Party leader Mike Schreiner, though, says the government should drop the sticker plan and its challenge of the federal carbon tax.
Well, the stickers are misleading because they only tell 1/3 of the story. They don't tell the part of the story that actually says most people get money back. As a matter of fact, if the Premier wins his court case, he'll be imposing a tax increase on 8 out of 10 Ontarians by removing their carbon rebate. The sticker should tell that part of the story. The other part of the story they should tell is how the costs of climate are escalating. I mean, we paid out $1.3 billion in insurable losses last year alone due to extreme weather events caused by the climate crisis. Those costs are only going to escalate. If the Premier wants to tell the full story, he needs to tell the full story.
People in Ontario will likely soon be able to drink around the clock in airport bars, take their dogs onto patios and into breweries, and bring home as much booze as they want from other provinces. The proposed loosened alcohol restrictions are among dozens of measures in a bill tabled yesterday to ease red tape and regulations. The legislation also tackles rules around trucking, mining, pensions, and several other sectors. Under the proposed law, bars and restaurants that are located after security in certain commercial airports in the province could serve alcohol all day. They are currently restricted to 9 a.m. and 2 a.m. As well, dogs would be allowed onto restaurant patios and could also be brought into breweries where only beverages and low-risk prepackaged foods are served. The bill also proposed to lift limits that mean adults in Ontario can bring up to 9 liters of wine, 3 liters of spirits, and roughly 3 cases of beer home from another province for personal use. Lawyers representing 11 people who were disqualified from applying to open a cannabis retail store in Ontario are seeking to appeal after a court dismissed their challenge of the rejection last month. The group has filed a notice that it is seeking leave to appeal the divisional court decision, saying the 3-judge panel erred in finding the Alcohol and Gaming Commission of Ontario acted reasonably in interpreting the licensing rules. It also argues the case raises issues that go beyond the interests of the specific parties, such as what counts as proper notification. The group has also filed a motion contesting another judge's decision not to put the cannabis licensing process on hold until the application for leave to appeal is resolved. The 11 initially turned to the court in September to challenge their disqualification and dispute the fairness of the procedures involved in the lottery used to grant pot shop licenses. A group launching a legal challenge to Ontario's child vaccination regime is planning a rally at the provincial legislature today. The group, which includes 5 parents and the organization Vaccine Choice Canada, is also expected to hold a news conference on its constitutional challenge. They allege the Immunization of School Pupils Act breaches several charter rights, including those to freedom of conscience and religion, as well as liberty and security of the person. The law requires that children be immunized against certain diseases unless their parents obtain an objection for medical reasons or over their beliefs. In order to get a non-medical exemption, however, parents must sign a statement of conscience and religious belief as of 2017 and attend an information session. Children whose parents don't comply can be suspended from school on order from the medical officer of health.
This past year we've been celebrating our 65th anniversary, dating back to services originating in our community in 1954, which is quite some time ago. It's been a great opportunity this past year to recognize the pioneers, the stakeholders that worked tirelessly to create what we are today. I'm grateful for everything that the families 65 years ago and the people that assembled the organization have done in order for us to achieve the success that we're experiencing 65 years later.
If you're a regular viewer of the show, you know how much I love Adele. I want to get hammered with Adele. I really do. I would never sing with her because I can't carry a tune in a bucket. I would not want to embarrass her. But wouldn't it be awesome? Her and Jennifer Aniston. And then throw in Michael Bublé. Right? Is this not the best party? She is looking awesome, Adele. And she just did a photo shoot for a magazine cover, and she talked about her transformation. She's dropped some weight. She says
she lost 185 pounds.
Yeah, she said
she got a divorce.
She's getting rid of, or she's watching sugar and carbs, but she says she will not deprive herself, but she's working out. And she said, you know what? People who work out and tell you that they love it are lying to you. Wow. She said, I will never skip to the gym, but she said...
Is that a before and after right there? That's Adele on the right? Wow. Okay, that's a big change. Is that Lou?
I don't know.
Michael's talking to you right now? Okay, so anyway, she's lost a lot of weight.
Yeah, she's lost a lot of weight. Anyway, she says you'll never find her skipping along.
No.
To the gym because she doesn't like it that much. She hates cardio, but she likes lifting weights. And I'm the same. See, we're friends. What she wants to do is be very healthy for her little boy, who's 7 years old, and she wanted to build up some stamina for her upcoming tour.
Oh.
And when asked what is it that you do to work out, she said, I mostly moan. And she also quit smoking Marlboro cigarettes.
Oh, well, see, what was she doing smoking?
To save her voice.
Adele, I'm glad she quit.
Imagine Adele with a butt hanging out of her face and a beer in her hand, right? Can you not see that?
That's not good.
So funny, so funny.
The butt is wrong. And you know what? It's going to be interesting to see if her voice changes, if she gets a little more range and stuff. Because she did have some vocal problems. Remember,
she had surgery.
She had nodes.
Yeah.
Because she wasn't used to singing so much.
Well, once she gets rid of the hawk and a hawks, I bet it's going to sound a lot better. You know, you get the hawk and a hawks.
I don't. People are eating. Justin Bieber.
What's wrong with hawk and a hawk?
Stop it. Justin Bieber has promised. I don't like this. He did an Instagram post and said if this post gets 20 million likes, Justin Bieber, and he calls himself Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber will put a new album out for Christmas. He says, I gotta see the demand. You know what?
I would so go out of my way not to.
Could you imagine going into work and saying to your boss, I'm not going to do any work today until at least 20 coworkers tell me that they want to see my work because I need inspiration. You know what, Justin Bieber? You're a musician. You chose to do this. Go to work or stay home. Up to you, buddy. Millionaire.
Also,
with your diamond grill.
A Christmas album would obviously have to have been done prior, so it's all set.
You're right, Luann. He's almost done. It's marketing strategy, and I think it's just...
Well, it's new age.
It is just marketing strategy.
Yeah.
He's going to make the album no matter what.
Well, yeah, he's
You know
gonna.
what?
He's gonna.
I would like it if they didn't tweet. I'd like it if it didn't hit 20 million tweets, and then that album has to come
That's
out
what
anyway.
I'm saying. Wouldn't that be awesome? Then what would
humbling,
you do?
wouldn't it be humbling? Humbling.
Well, just because I didn't get 20 million tweets, I'm going to show it to you anyway.
Just
right?
because I'm
like, what do
really
you do
good
then?
looking and a millionaire, and my wife is gorgeous, and we built.
There's some confidence in that statement. I want 20 million likes. I would be scared
I
to
gotta
not
see
get
the
one.
demand.
I would never say I want a like.
That's because there's still the little girl inside of you who prayed for friends. Okay, Abby and Josh are here, and we're talking. This is really cool. Recycling. They've got some great tips for us. I love when they're here. We're gonna do
they're
that
awesome.
coming up. Stay tuned for Talking Trash with Abby and Josh on Mornings with Luann and Tim.
Here, your education is everything, supporting your true sense of purpose. Here, you'll learn from professors who will understand you, who will challenge you, and offer you support on your journey. Here, you'll study programs built on real values: business, technology, science, arts and social sciences, always geared to make a positive difference. Here, you'll have a chance to assist in faculty research, leaving your mark wherever you go. Here, you'll focus on what matters to you and impact the world around you. Algoma University. Come take a closer look.
Recently, the Government of Ontario established a $100 million affordability fund to help Ontarians who don't qualify for low-income conservation programs ease the burden of their electricity bill. Whether you rent or own your home, as long as you pay your electric bill, you could qualify. There are 3 levels of support available. The first is a home energy kit with upgrades like smart power bars and LED light bulbs. The second includes Energy Star appliances that help keep things cool during the hot summer months. The third is for electrically heated homes so that your power bills don't break the bank during those long Canadian winters. Plus, all upgrades, including installation, are completely free of charge. Visit affordabilityfund.org or call 1-855-494-FUND to find out if you qualify.
Hey, see, we're already having fun. It's always fun when you're talking trash with Abby and Josh.
Talking trash.
Clean North. Whose favorite volunteers? Our favorite volunteers from Clean North. Always doing great things in the community. Really cool stuff going on. And today we're talking about recycling. Well, waste reduction.
Waste reduction.
I thought it was this week because it was the 4th, but it's the 4th week of October, which because there's like 4.5 weeks in October, like technically last week was National Waste Reduction Week.
Every week should be Waste Reduction Week. Why?
See what Abby says?
Because we do not want a new landfill. People who are concerned about their taxes should be very concerned about waste reduction because
Where are we
our
right now?
landfill's filling up. I don't know exactly.
We've already managed to extend the life beyond what they anticipated. We need to keep doing that because, Josh, how much money is it going to cost us to find a new site, dig a new landfill?
A lot.
Ridiculous.
It's going to up our taxes
so much.
People are not going to be happy.
Won't be happy.
People
So
are not going to be
smarten up, and we're going to teach you how to smarten up today. Where do you want to start, Abby and Josh?
Well, I mean, one of the buying patterns. So we are basically the industry coaches us into spending more money than we really need to. So buy less. When you go shopping, make a list. Don't buy things you don't need. Buy used and buy high quality things. One of the worst culprits is fast fashion. We buy things, wear them for only a few months, and then they get thrown in the garbage. Buy quality, keep it for a longer time, and that's a great way to help keep things out of the landfill.
Absolutely, and we all know which stores we're talking about. We don't have to name names.
No.
A lot of them are located in larger outlets and outlet stores, malls. Stuff that's made in China, stuff that's made poorly, cheaply, cheap cotton that's not going to survive a season or a year. This is the stuff you don't want to be wasting your money on.
Right.
And then filling up the landfill with stuff that's not going to...
Or buy clothes from thrift store. I got this top at a thrift store.
I'm telling you, a lot of films will end, and there's costumes and stuff left over, right? Some wardrobe and stuff. It's almost all purchased from Value Village anyway. Like a lot of the films will shop at secondhand. They don't buy new stuff,
right?
And then it goes back again,
right?
And so sometimes it ends up in my closet because seriously, the stuff you go to Value Village, you're getting brand names for like $12. So why?
Yeah,
why
exactly.
Not?
Yes.
What was the thing you said? Don't buy too much. We overspend.
We overspend, absolutely.
Okay. What's number 2? There's a list that you brought us. I think Michael has a graphic of it, I believe. What's number 2 on the list?
Number 2 on the list, repair and repurpose.
Yes.
You can figure out how to fix anything on YouTube. I was telling Tim that my sister, who's a single mom, figured out how to fix her dryer herself. If she can do that, you can fix anything. Don't throw away an item of clothing because it doesn't have a button.
And you know what I learned how to do? I learned how to fix my carburetor. And I did so well fixing that carburetor that everything gets ground up perfectly now. Okay, it's just a joke.
And you know what? It actually supports local businesses as well.
What do you mean?
Repair shops, right? You got to think. If, say, for example, Dawn, I remember for our co-op, one of the things we did was we brought in a furnace, like a little heating furnace.
Yes.
Brought it into a shop because it wasn't working, the button wasn't working. And this guy, he needs the stuff to repair, obviously, to keep a living. So
yes.
Supports local businesses.
And so you said that millennials are kind of they're not the greatest at repairing things.
No.
Something breaks, they throw it out.
We've gotten away from that. And I think that it's something that we should move towards and encourage and embrace, is fixing things yourself. Learning how to sew on your own buttons. Learning how to fix your own whatever.
Josh, we're talking about YouTube, and you can there's a video for everything.
Everything.
Right?
Yep. Everything.
So don't throw it away. Try and fix it.
Try and fix it. Don't fill the landfills with the stuff that can be repaired. Okay, absolutely. What's number 3 on that list? Can we see the list again, Michael, if you don't mind? Oh, recycle. Know your city's rules, and we know in Sault Ste. Marie, let's say it in unison, numbers 1 and 2. We do not recycle 5s and 6s in Sault Ste. Marie. Don't put them in your recycling bin like I've tried to do in the past. I no longer do that.
Yes.
Thank you, Tim.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it.
Well, you know what? In a household, you can almost make it fun.
Right.
If you make it a family thing, like check the numbers and whatever, and wash the stuff repurpose the stuff that can't be thrown out, right?
That's something that you could make a child responsible for, and young children love to be involved in housework. So engage them in that.
Engage them in the recycling and looking at the numbers and all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
Okay, so know your, and those rules can all be found as far as Sault Ste. Marie goes on the City of Sault Ste. Marie website. It's all there.
Look at the lid of your recycling bin. It states very clearly. And remember, no lids or caps either. No plastic lids or caps.
Clean recycling means actually the city can make money off of it instead of having to lose money sorting through it again.
Again, taxes.
Yes, taxes.
Josh, see, he makes economic sense. Okay, what's the next one on the list?
The next one.
Compost.
Oh yeah. I'll let Josh speak to that.
Okay, compost.
You're the champ.
Food waste, really. I mean, you can compost any food waste. More likely, like grains and fruit and vegetables and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. You could still compost meat and stuff, but it might get a little smelly.
Yeah, okay. But now, Abby, one of the things about composting you said was why we don't want the food waste going into the landfills because of the gases it creates?
Yeah, so when it breaks down, it produces methane, organic matter does, and that's a far more potent greenhouse gas than carbon dioxide.
Wow.
And there's a lot of products that we don't realize can be composted.
Like, for instance, look what she brought props. Bamboo toothbrushes.
Yes, recyclable.
May I see it?
You can now get them at Winners or order them on Amazon, or I've seen them I think I've seen them at
try it out.
There's my camera there. There's my camera. Okay. Look at that. Oh, it's soft. It's soft bristle too. I could use this. This is gorgeous.
You can have it. It's
Where'd you get it, Abby?
I ordered, I can't remember, I think I ordered it online somewhere. But anyway, you can have that one.
It's a humble brush.
Happy Halloween.
I could
This
use
is
some
a
humility.
Swedish
Thank you.
dishcloth. Think about it. The kitchen sponge is disgusting. It's a cesspool of germs and it's not recyclable. So every sponge that we use is going to be here for probably 100 years or 200 years or
Fun,
whatever.
functional, and eco-friendly.
So these Swedish dishcloths
It's hard
are,
to say Swedish dishcloth.
you can wash them.
Say it 10 times.
They will
Swedish
resist a
dishcloth,
quick
Swedish
bleach
dishcloth.
treatment and you can reuse them over and over again for at least 6 months.
Where did you get this?
I ordered it online from a Swedish
Good heavens.
Swedish
you're
dishcloth.
Place.
I can't say it online.
It's hard to say Swedish dishcloth.
And this is a
Dishcloth.
Tawashi brush. It's great
It's
for
a what?
scrubbing pans. Tawashi.
Tawashi. It's good to wash the dishes with.
Yes. And it's from Japan. And
Oh.
Oh.
all
What is
natural.
this? It's all natural?
Yes.
So this is compostable.
Yes.
And you'll last forever.
It'll really.
So, yeah, an SOS pad will disappear.
You know what,
in
you know what
short
else Abby
order.
does? Show them your soap. She makes
Instead
her
of
own
buying
hand
those
soap.
little plastic things of hand soap that don't last very long and then you have to throw them away, I make my own hand soap. You can melt grated bar soap into boiling water or very hot water to purify it and get a glass container and
See that?
I won't, this will
And you
last
can get
till
the
I die.
hand soap at places like Mill Market where it's
Yes.
made locally
Made
once
locally.
again, and it's also all like natural.
Yep, and not wrapped in plastic.
Did we almost get through the list? We're almost out of time. Is there a couple more things? Wait, we gotta go fast. Go electronic, avoid paper.
Yes.
Everything's going, what, Abby, the mail's coming in.
What happens to your mail? It goes right into the recycling bin.
Might as well go electronic.
Get rid of it.
Email.
Who needs it? Stop it.
Everyone has email.
And plan meals. Why is that important?
Once again, it's because we waste so much food. North Americans waste so much food. So
Stop
plan your meals
wasting.
ahead of time.
Make sure you eat everything. Make sure you have
eat
enough
it all.
on your
Yeah,
plate
look
that
at
you
you.
eat it. Don't have too much on
Josh
your
can
plate.
eat it all. I can't.
All right. Guys, we gotta go. I want to thank you again for being here. I
Thank
look
you,
forward
Tim.
to next month's visit. It's
Yes,
always a pleasure. We
for
always
sure.
learn so much, and you're inspirational. Abby and Josh from Clean North Volunteers. Contact Clean North if you want to help out. We'll be right back to say goodbye with Luann after this.
Since 1899, the Machine Shop has been a unique space for innovation and creativity. Once a leading pulp and paper company, the Machine Shop was built by Francis H. Clerg, which later became part of St. Mary's Paper in 1984. After the closure of St. Mary's Paper in 2011, the Machine Shop spent 4 years vacant. In 2015, the Machine Shop reopened their doors to the community for the first time. From weddings to galas to concerts and festivals, the one-of-a-kind venue has something for everyone. We are proud to work with the community and local nonprofits to host major events such as Festival of Trees, Pearls and Plaid, an evening at Hogwarts, and more. While you're here, wind down at the Mill Steakhouse and Wine Bar for a quiet dining experience, or watch a game and try a wood fire oven pizza and local draft at the Boiler Room. Don't forget to save room for house-made gelato and baked goods at the Gelato Mill. For more information on the Machine Shop events, history, and restaurants, visit machineshopinc.ca. 3 great places, 1 historic venue.
Thanks
Thanks so much for watching this morning. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much to KC Security for sponsoring the show every morning, and thank you to
Free
our
stuff.
environmental friends.
Clean
I'm
North.
so excited about this.
KC Security.
And if you can't use it on pots and pans, you can just like
Exfoliate. Tomorrow's Wellness Wednesday. We'll see you here on Mornings with Luann and Tim. Have a great Tuesday. Stay dry, and let's pray for sunshine. See you tomorrow.
Bye.